Hello everyone, I welcome you all on this YouTube channel, the UPSC TV by RS, and here myself Rahul, and let's begin with the Hindu dated 3rd of August 2020, and we are going to cover the Hindu newspaper for your public administration optional for UPSC Civil Services examination. And I want to inform you that the magazine for the month of July 2020, the Public Administration Current Affair magazine, is available on the platform. So the link for the link to download the magazine is given in the description box. You can check out the link, and let's get started with the Hindu dated 3rd of August 2020. Okay. So let's get started, and if you just scroll down, let's move on to the important news article. So if you just scroll down, you will find that there is one article that we are going to cover today. So yes, so here we have this article: 74 IPS officers transferred in Gujarat. Okay, so here the news as such is not important, but in this light, in this backdrop, we are going to cover this transfer phenomena, this transfer industry sort of thing that is there in our country. 74 IPS officers transferred in Gujarat. So in this context, let us cover the important relation, the kind of relation between the government and the bureaucrats. And in this context, there are two important things that you should keep in your mind, and both the important things I am going to tell you in this particular analysis only. Okay, when it comes to this transfer and all, the coverage of this thing you will find in the 10th report of सेकेंड ARC. तो सेकेंड ARC की 10th रिपोर्ट में आपको ये चीज़ देखने को मिलेगी. ओके, सो 10th रिपोर्ट ऑफ second ARC, where you will get the name of the report is refurbishing personal administration, and the chapter number 15 of this 10th report is talking about the relation between political executive and the civil servants. Similarly, there is one more report, 4th report of second ARC. In this report you will get the chapter number 9th. Basically this report is with respect to ethics in governance. So here chapter number 9 is also talking about the relation between both the, you can say, bodies. There are similarities between these chapters of different reports of second ARC, 10th report and 4th report respectively, and we are going to cover those overlapping paradigms as well as the important perspectives from the second ARC only, and this is going to be the very important analysis for your UPSC CSE public administration optional paper 1 as well as paper 2, because in paper 1 it is covered, it is relevant for your personal administration. In your paper 2 of PubEd it is relevant for your civil services. So in both the papers it is relevant, and let's understand this thing. Let's try to find out the important perspective of this particular topic. Okay, so first of all, let's start with the personal administration. So here the 15th chapter of this 10th report of second ARC is talking about the relation between the political executive and the civil servants. Okay, so here directly you should know that there are 6 dimensions. Without going into the nitty-gritties, you can read these things if you want, but the major coverage of this particular chapter, or the thing that you should remember, the thing that you should understand, is the area of friction. What are the area of friction when it comes to the relation between the political executive and civil servants? So there are 6 dimensions over here. Okay, 6 dimensions over here. The first one being the concept of neutrality, followed by the other aspects, for example advisory role. Okay, neutrality is there, then the advisory role of civil servants in policy making. Advisory role basically means that let's say there is a bureau, let's say this is the cabinet secretary, or you can say the secretary of any particular ministry. Okay, or joint secretary, under secretary, whatever. So let's say secretary, secretary means IAS officer, and there will be the kind of, you can say, this is secretary is administrative head of a particular organization, particular ministry, and there will be the political head as well, the, you can say, honorable cabinet minister or minister of that particular, you can say, ministry. Okay, so here there is a kind of, you can say, relation, and there is a kind of advisory role. Okay, this IAS would give the advice to the minister in charge. Okay, and there this is called as the advisory role, and in this context also there is a area of friction. Why? Because there is a kind of, you can say, interaction, and when it comes to interaction you will get some sort of conflict might arise, and we will cover it, this thing, in a short while. Apart from that, statutory role of civil servants, so we will cover this thing, this is the another area. Discharge of delegated function, appointment, recruitment of civil services, and then the important one, transfer and postings, and this is something in that is there in the article as well. So you might get a specific question on transfer, you might get the entire area of friction, or you can use this thing as per the need of the question. Okay, so all these 6 areas are really very important for you to understand. So first of all, concept of neutrality. So when it comes to neutrality, this article, this is basically, when it comes to neutrality, neutrality is of 2 kinds. Paul Appleby talks about this thing. Neutrality is of 2 types. First one is the political neutrality, and another one is the program neutrality. Political neutrality, as you can see over here, political neutrality, and another one is the program neutrality. Paul Appleby observed this thing. What is the difference between political neutrality and program neutrality? Political neutrality basically means that you are a kind of neutral. For example, Weber bureaucracy. When Weber uses the term bureaucracy, and when Weber explains the bureaucracy by saying that it is neutral. Okay, neutrality is one of the characteristic of Weberian bureaucracy. Okay, you must remember this thing. So what happen is that this neutrality basically means instrument. Neutrality means instrument. If I am neutral, it basically means that I would work like instrument, I would work like a pen. Okay, just try to understand. A topper is there with 99.99% marks in all the career, all the academics, and all these things are there. Apart from that, a kind of student who is not good in studies but good in sports or something like that. Okay, so everyone has the different capability. Okay, so let's say in academics, this person is, the second person is not so good. Okay, but they are using the same pen. This is something that you should understand. They are using the same pen. So here pen is something which is neutral. Pen is something which is neutral. Pen are not, you can say, pen are not like, you can say, they do not have the power. Okay, they are neutral. It depends on who is using them. It depends on that particular thing. Pen are neutral. So bureaucracy is neutral. Okay, no matter how intelligent the bureaucrat is, no matter how you can say what are the characteristics of bureaucracy, bureaucrat should be neutral. It should work like a pen. Okay, it should not use their own mind. They should not use their own mind. This is neutrality. Just like pen, keep quiet, and whoever is using you, okay, whoever is using you basically means whichever the political party is using you, you should be neutral. Okay, you should not use your mind. Okay, don't use your mind. This is Weberian bureaucracy, and this is neutrality. And here Paul Appleby is saying that this idea of neutrality, this Weberian idea of neutrality, is political neutrality. Political neutrality will come into picture when it comes to, you can say, advisory role. Okay, for example, IAS is, the secretary is advising to the you can say minister. Here neutrality should come into picture, that they should not be biased while giving the opinion should be, you can say, neutral. Okay, but this is known as political neutrality, that politically I do as an IAS officer, you should not have any ideology, you should not be biased, and you should give the neutral unbiased advice. This is political neutrality. But after the decision, let's say you are recommending something, and whether your recommendation is being accepted or not, whatever the case, okay, after this entire, you can say, in your public policy also you have this you can say black box model. No matter what is happening, but after the formulation of the policy, when it comes to implementation of that policy, the bureaucracy should work like in the form of program neutrality. Now they should not be like neutral, okay. Now they should not tell in the people that I am like a pen, okay. They should not tell like this, okay. So now program neutrality will came into picture, and they should stand with that particular policy. Now they are not neutral. Now they are not saying that between capitalist, let's say there is a kind of debate between capitalism and socialism, okay. So when it comes to political neutrality, this bureaucrat should not use his or her mind when it comes to, you can say, advising the political head, okay. So this is political neutrality. But once the decision has been taken, for example, government is saying privatization, now this might be possible that this bureaucrat have the socialist credential in his personal life, but now as the decision has been taken and this decision is saying capitalism, so now they have to abide by capitalism. Earlier they were neutral when it comes to advisory role, but now they are, you can say, free. Now they have to support capitalism. This is program neutrality, because now this policy, at the stage of political policy formulation consultation, and they should be, and the role should be advisory, but after the political, you can say, consultation and all, once the policy or program has been approved, now they have to become program neutral. This is the difference between program neutrality and political neutrality, okay. I hope you are getting, and this is all about this thing. Apart from that, there is the advisory role. Advisory role, this is the second topic. Advisory role is nothing. I told you this thing, that let's say this is the secretary and this is a member, or you can say minister. So now what is happening when it comes to advisory role, the secretary or the IAS officer would give the advice, the unbiased, the neutral advice, the politically neutral advice to the minister, okay. So this is the kind of advice. But many a times what happen is that there is a kind of conflict at this level, okay, that let's say IAS officer is saying something else and minister is saying something else, okay. For example, the case was, you can use the example, and there was in 2018 or 17 or something like that, there was a conflict between Minister of Women and Child Development. At that point of time, the then Minister of Women and Child Development, Ministry of Women and Child Development was headed by, and this political head of that ministry was Srimati Menaka Gandhi ji, okay. So she was the minister in the Women and Child Development Ministry, okay, political head. And administration means the secretary and other, you can say, ministry officials, they have the different point of view when it comes to one particular program, the midday meal program, that how the food should be given to the children, okay. So minister was saying something else and ministry was saying something else, and there was a conflict, and that thing is nothing but the kind of friction when it comes to advisory role, because here this is the kind of conflictual area. Here conflict might arise, okay. So here second ARC will say this thing, and this is the particular, in principles also this is being written, that you should, as an IAS officer should give the advice, but after the, you can say, decision making power is in the hand of the political head. So after the, you can say, decision making, this IAS officer should follow that decision, and they have to ignore their interest, okay. I hope you are getting. Let's say I am saying that for example, in this case only, the conflict should not occur, because the administration or the IAS officer, they do not have any power, because the ultimate head is this minister itself, minister herself. So I hope you are getting this thing. This is something that you should know when it comes to this particular advisory role, that IAS officers, they have to implement the decision taken by their political heads and political master. So this is the area of friction and this is the solution. Apart from that, statutory role of civil servants. So civil servants are required to discharge many statutory functions. For example, you can talk about different functions. For example, here second ARC is talking about different functions. They are generally, sometimes they are quasi judicial in nature as well. For example, as an executive magistrate, under CRPC there are functions. In previous analysis we have covered the section 144 and other relevant section of CRPC, and in during the protest also executive magistrate have the power. So that statutory role is coming from this CRPC. Apart from that, the role of assessing officer under the Income Tax Act. Similarly, in elections also there is a specific different role as an end of the SHO under CRPC, and the executive police and respective police act are some example of such functions. So it has been observed that there is a increasing trend on the part of the senior functionaries both in the civil servant. There is a basically there is a kind of interference from the political head. So there is a kind of obstruction, politics, polytoxication. So these are the things: polytoxication, politicization of bureaucracy, bureaucratization of politics. So these things are there. So there is a kind of, you can say, interference from the political perspective, political domain, and second ARC is suggesting in this report only that these things should be done away with, and Ethics in Governance report has recommended that this Prevention of Corruption Act 1988 should be amended, and these things like abuse of authority under favoring or harming someone, and obstruction of justice should be classified as offense. Okay, obstruction of justice basically means that let's say investigation agency is doing their task, and minister is calling, and minister is using the muscle power, money power, or whatever. So the bureaucrat, they can simply record the call, and they can say that there is a kind of obstruction of justice. Okay, and obstruction of justice should become the part of, you can say, corruption only. Okay, so I hope you are getting. Apart from that, discharge of delegated functions. So when it comes to delegation, things should be delegated, because what happened that as of now there is a kind of conflict. Okay, because here political executive, when we say political executive, we are talking about the you can say in the arena of 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act, because after 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act, these, you can say, people are also the representatives, they are also the political executive. Okay, these Panchayati Raj members and municipal committee, municipal corporation members. Okay, so in that context, this particular section is saying that there should be the proper delegation of functions to the representatives and all those things. So this is very generic thing, so there is nothing called as analysis in this particular domain. Apart from that, appointment, recruitment of to the civil services. So already you must be knowing about this thing, that UPSC is there and state public service commissions are there when it comes to the appointment and recruitment of civil services. And when it comes to the state services, state PSCs, there are problems when it comes to their appointment and all those things, and basically their composition and other aspects. Okay, because if you read state PSCs, you will find that their composition and other things are quite, you can say, problematic. Okay, so there is a corruption and other things are there. So these things are there, but here our discussion is not state PSC, because state PSC discussion we will cover some in some other analysis. As of now, appointment, recruitment, so it is saying that this is the area of friction, because there is a kind of interaction between both the things, both the parties, the aspirant, or you can say the person who is going to be recruited, and the political executive. So here the principle should be there, and corruption should not be there. Okay, for example, the kind of चाचा विधायक हैं, है ना, or that kind of thing, that means favoritism, nepotism. Okay, so these Bavarian bureaucracy principles, like you can say incumbent should not consider office as their personal property. These are the characteristic feature of Bavarian bureaucracy. So same things are given here as well, that merit based procedure and all those things. You can read it. Widely public, there should be the proper publicity and open competition for the recruitment of post. Okay, so post should be not should be filled in a very proper manner. There should be the proper merit based procedure. There should be the minimization, if not elimination. If elimination is, recruitment is the process of elimination. Okay, recruitment is the process of selection and elimination. Okay, but when it comes to, for example, UPSC, 10 lakh people, 10 lakh aspirants are, you can say, applying for the examination. So this is not the selection, this is the elimination. Okay, prelims is not selection, they are not selecting you, they are eliminating the, you can say, the people who are not good for the civil services examination. Okay, so they are eliminating. This is not the exam of selection. People say that this is selection examination for the selection of bureaucrats. No, this is elimination. Okay, this is pure elimination. So here, and the same thing is being iterated by second ARC as well, that minimization, if not elimination. Ultimately they are eliminating, and if they are unable to eliminate, they should minimize. Okay, so for example, from mains to interview, they are not eliminating as such, they are minimizing. Okay, from pre to mains, you can say that they are eliminating. Okay, because 10 lakh will become 16,000, 15,000. Okay, but from 15,000 to 3,000, when they are going from mains to interview, they are minimizing. Okay, so I hope you are getting. Apart from that, selection primarily on the basis of written examination, so that there should be the kind of standard operating procedure, so that Taylor should come into picture. The standard operating procedure and proper, you can say, analysis and proper, you can say, procedure rules and all. Okay, so this is there. You can also link with Weber. And apart from that, postings and transfer, this is something which is important. NCRWC, National Commission to Review the Working of the Constitution, it has made the following observation, and these observation you should read, and you should use your use the keywords in your answer. So there are arbitrary and questionable methods of appointment, transfer and all those things. So it lead to when it comes to arbitrary and other things, it lead to collusive practices. Okay, if you read the data of civil services and all those things, when it comes to civil servants, more than 80% of bureaucrats, their you can say average tenure, the average tenure of civil servants in India, more than 80% of them have the average tenure of less than 2 years. Okay, so you can imagine the condition. And you can use one more data. In 1996, Labasna, that is Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration, Mussoorie. Okay, you must be knowing about this name. Okay, so this Labasna, Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration, they conducted a particular study in 1996, and in that particular study, they analyzed the state of UP. Okay, and in UP they found that the average tenure of the civil servants, the bureaucrat, is around 3 to 4, not year, it is month, 3 to 4 months. Okay, so in 3 to 4 months, the person got a kind of transfer. And in this light, only fourth report of second ARC highlight this thing as the transfer industry. You should use these keywords, transfer industry. Okay, so this transfer industry is going on parallel with the development, parallel with New India, parallel with whatever the scheme, Garibi Hatao, Desh Bachao, whatever. Okay, in all these years we have witnessed this kind of, you can say, transfer industry which is going on, and this led to the problem called collusive practices from the end of, you can say, bureaucrats, and the bureaucrats would start politician biddings. Remember these keywords, use these keywords, politician biddings, rather than adhere to the rules. There will be the kind of, you can say, the kind of political, you can say, this there will be the kind of political biddings, there would be the kind of collusive practices, there would be the kind of inefficiency, and this vicious cycle will came into picture, where the political neutrality, this, you can say, committed bureaucracy will something is something that will came into picture. Committed bureaucracy, here committed does not mean commitment to constitution, but committed means commitment to the political ideology or the political party, commitment to the political head. So I hope you are getting. So this is the problem: transfer industry, collusive behavior, politician biddings. You can use these things in your answer writings. Okay, so this is the thing. And second ARC is talking about civil services authority. There should be the civil services law, and transfer etc should be the, you can say, should come under the domain of that civil services authority. Okay, so here if you just read out, you can read the things. We have covered all those things already, so you can read out these, you can say, things. Okay, these recommendation, the summary of recommendation. And apart from that, civil services law, for transfer perspective, second ARC recommended civil services law. There should be the civil service bill, and this civil service bill should become civil service law, and civil service authority should be created, and all the things like transfer and other things should be in the domain of this body. Okay, there should be the proper, you can say, standard operating procedure. As of now, what happened, that there is no, you can say, public domain thing, there is no, you can say, justification of transfer, there is no justification as to why they are transferring a particular bureaucrat, particular official from one place to another. Okay, so there are random transfer, they are not proving that it is affecting the good governance and what not, but problems are there. And politicization is something, you have seen all those things in your movies and all that. There is a kind of you can say political gaming, and political games are going on parallel with the administration. Okay, I hope you are getting. So here basically what you have to understand, remember this thing, that there are civil service A, civil service B, and civil service C. Okay, civil service A is nothing but civil service authority. Civil service authority is recommended by second ARC. Second ARC recommended civil service authority. Civil service board, it was recommended by, you can say, it was recommended by HOTA committee, HOTA committee. Okay, so remember this thing. And civil service commission, it was recommended by Supreme Court, or recommended by is not the correct good word or correct word. Supreme Court give this judgment, binding judgment, so called binding judgment, and nobody is saying that this is contempt of the court, that even after the judgment they have given the proper judgment that within few months, within a specific time you have to do this thing. This is the binding thing, but still no political party has done this thing. And you can just understand that contempt of the court, okay, contempt, the so called contempt of the court, it will came into picture when a particular person is writing something on social media, but it will not came into picture when this entire system is, you can say, becoming very inefficient, it is becoming corrupt, and things are going on. Okay, movies are going on, everybody knows this thing, but there is no contempt, there is no so called contempt of the court. Okay, so I am not saying these things because of certain, you can say, personal grievances or whatever, but I just feel like this thing, that this contempt of the court, if contempt of the court is a kind of thing, then why contempt of the court is not being implemented in these kind of things? Okay, we respect the judiciary, we are basically, we know this thing, that judiciary is very efficient, judiciary is doing a great job, and it has done all those things in the previous years as well, and they will do this thing. But at the same time, when it comes to such kind of judgment, why not contempt of the court? Why not contempt of the court when it comes to Prakash Singh judgment? Why not contempt of the court when it comes to different, you can say, Supreme Court guidelines in different, you can say, cases? There is no contempt of the court in such kind of things. Okay, contempt of the court will come into picture when somebody is doing, you can say, some sort of thing which has a impact. I am not saying that that thing is justified because of this thing, but still things should be, you can say, our priority decides our future, so priority should be like this. Okay, so why not civil service commission, why not Prakash Singh judgment are being implemented? So these are the questions that you should ask to your wherever you can ask. Okay, so this is it, this is there. I hope you are getting all the things with respect to your civil services and political party relation and all those things that I have told you. Apart from that, if you just read another report, fourth report of your second ARC, and this report is talking about the relation between the political executive and the permanent civil servants. Okay, so here it is talking about only 3 aspects, and one aspect is new, other aspects are old one. Okay, first aspect is the advisory role. I told you earlier, na, advisory role, there is a kind of relation between the secretary and the bureau and the secretary of the ministry department and the minister. Okay, there is a kind of relation. So that relation we have discussed earlier, same thing is being given in this article and in this specific, you can say, report as well. Apart from that, the second thing that they are highlighting is the political neutrality. So we have covered this thing as well, that political neutrality, program neutrality, Paul Appleby sort of thing. All these things you will find in this report as well. Third thing is very important, which is known as independentness. So here it is saying that there are cases in this, if you read this particular report, it highlighted that in some of the states what happen is that state government has created a specific ministry called Ministry of District Administration, and that Ministry of District Administration is interfering in the working of district magistrate or district collector. They are basically acting like a watchdog, that what you are doing. So this is not done, this is not correct. Why this is not correct? Because if you read the policy implementation, if you read about the public policy paper 1, if you read the chapter of public policy in paper 1 of your PubEd, you will find that there are, you can say, models of public policy implementation, where you will get the models like street level bureaucracy among others, and in that you will find that flexibility is very important. For implementation, you have to give the autonomy and flexibility, the kind of freedom, so that they can do their work properly. And if you are doing this kind of Minister of District Administration, this Minister of District Administration, what is the work of that particular minister? They will, you can say, they will interfere unnecessarily in the district administration where implementation is going on. Okay, I hope you are getting. So political interference, the extent will increase. So this is the problem, and second ARC recommended this thing, that such kind of practices should be avoided. ये ऐसे काम करने नहीं बैठ जाना है. Okay, make Ministry of Finance, make Ministry of Education, because these are the, you can say, things where you should work in the field of finance, or for that matter in the field of education. What is the point of creating Minister of District Administration? What is the work? If you just compare the work, Ministry of Finance, what is the work? There are many work, very, you can say, important ministry. Ministry of Education, there are work, okay, in field of education. Ministry of Tribal Affairs, obviously there are works. Ministry of let's say there are all the ministry have certain work. What is the work of Ministry of District Administration? Nothing. They are going to just you can say look at the, they are going to, you can say, they will create the interference on the district level. This is the problem, because already at district level you will find Panchayati Raj, you will find municipality, you will find the district level, this district magistrate, you will find the para status, and you are unnecessarily creating this another body, Ministry of District Administration, for the ultimate, you can say, interference and all. So this is something that second ARC is highlighting, that these things should not be there, these things should be avoided, and such ministry should not be created, because it basically hampers the relation between these bodies. Okay, so this is something that you should know, and this is all about this thing. Apart from that, in this you can say this particular chapter is also highlighting the civil service bill and all those things that we have covered earlier as well, civil service authority and all. Okay, so this is it for the day. I hope you are getting both the chapters of second ARC in the different reports, and apart from that, I hope you are getting the things with respect to how you should approach these articles. And please try to make the notes out of this thing, and don't forget to like this video if this video is helpful in your preparation, and if this video is making your life easier when it comes to public administration optional. There is only one article. Stay tuned for the more articles. We will cover these things on a daily basis, and please subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon, and you can also download the magazine given in the description box. Okay, this is it for the day. Thank you so much, and bye bye.